The countdown to college basketball season is on. We are in Irving, Texas, getting you ready for the American Athletic Conference with AAC Basketball Media Days. The Tulsa women's basketball team was one of 3 American teams who shared the regular season title last season. The Golden Hurricanes were led by the Conference Player of the Year, Tamara Poindexter, who has now taken her talents to Kansas State. Head coach Andy Nelb does return 3 starters from last year's group. That includes their leader in boards, steals, assists, and 3-point shooting. But who will be the new leader of the team this season? We welcome head coach Nelb to the stage now to find out how they move on without Tamara Poindexter.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for having all of us. We're so excited to be here. But, you know, that's the landscape of women's basketball. Yeah. Things are changing. And as a team and as a program, you continue to adapt, you continue to evolve. But I know that at the University of Tulsa, our team will never be about just one player. You know, I really believe that, you know, our 2 pillars of teamwork and toughness are consistent within everything that we do. But we're joined here today with Delaney Crawford and Hadley Perriman, who are great leaders on our team and great producers for us. So we're excited about this year. It does look a little bit different. Yeah. We've got some different personnel, but, you know, we're really excited for this team.
Well, Coach, so much of the success, you know, comes from the message that you give and the players that are able to buy into. What are you saying, you know, this season versus now that was the carryover, but you want to make it sharper?
Yeah, well, you know, one thing that I always learn is that your culture is what you have to consistently emphasize, and that doesn't change from year to year. Your personnel may look a little bit different, your style of play may be tweaked or adjusted or adapted kind of in these different areas, but we're about love, trust, and work every single day in everything that we do, and you've got to be consistent in those things that we do in order to be great.
You make a great point with creating culture, though. Like, how does that look, especially with, you know, sometimes you have 5 new players, 9 new players. In that short period of time of everybody getting to campus in your first game, how do you do that?
Yeah, well, first of all, I'm really fortunate to be able to coach great young women, you know, like Delaney and Hadley and several others on our team. And it was really evident right off the bat in June just really how connected they are, both on and off the court. And so, you know, sometimes as coaches, sometimes we tend to overanalyze things and we think, okay, how do we create this team building? How do we create these connections? And one thing I saw with this team right away is that's going to happen naturally, and that's going to happen really organically.
You talk about focusing on the process at Tulsa. What does that mean to you, and how do you establish that in practice?
Yeah, well, we talk about surrendering the results and focusing on the process. So what we really want every single day is we want to give our best effort and we want to grow, right? And we have really high standards, and we don't apologize for those high standards, right? But we give our best to try to reach those every day. And at the end of the day, it's not about what you get at the end. It's about what you give all along the way. You know, focusing on the process is a difficult thing to do. You look at a society, you look at everything where there's spotlights, there's trophies, there's all these things where people want to measure success. We make sure that we measure success in those things that we can control, and those things that we can control are the things that we focus on in the process as well.
When you look at how competitive this conference has become, you know, where does it become, hey, we want to make sure we are the conference that can get 2 leagues to the NCAA? How does this become a 2-bid league?
Yeah, well, we've got to get back to being a multi-bid league. I believe we had been until this past year, but this conference is so competitive, and there's so many great teams in it. You see that last year. You know, you see the way that everybody's kind of rising and shifting throughout the standings throughout the year and even late into February, and that's the American. The American is always going to be really competitive. You know, we've got to make sure that we do everything that we can do. We can't always control what other teams can do and how they schedule, but we want to create a non-conference schedule that's going to help our team grow, help us, you know, be competitive in the conference schedule, and I think we've done that this year.
Coach, I want to ask you about Delaney Crawford. She was the most improved player last year. What steps have you seen her take in her game?
Well, Delaney is amazing, first of all. She's amazing in the player that she is, and she's amazing how she's become the player she is, and she's not done yet. But she's probably the first one in the gym, the last one out of the gym every single day. You see a tremendous work ethic. The other thing that you see is there's an extreme selflessness to the way that she works. So she works so she can be her best, so her team can be their best. And so there's a selfless leadership that exists with what she does on and off the floor. She continues to get in the gym time and time again to continue to expand her game, to continue to grow her game. With so many newcomers on our team this year and having such a young team, it's been really fun to see her blossom just in her leadership and the way that she's helping other people.
Has she taken on that role of being the vocal leader with all these new faces?
We certainly have several vocal leaders. We have lots of really good leaders on our team, but Delaney she's been through it. Delaney and Hadley have both been here with me for 3 years, and they both kind of, they understand more than just the terminology, right? They understand more than where they're supposed to be in practice. It's not just what we're doing, it's how we're doing it that they tend to lead the best in.
Coach, if you look at just your team this year, the pieces, and how practices are going, this is a question I've been really liking to ask the coach. What is a drill right now that you absolutely love that maybe your team is learning how to embrace?
You know what? I actually, they'll probably answer that question better than I do, because I think they've done a great job at embracing these drills. You know, like I mentioned earlier, it's not the drill, it's how you do the drill, right? And so it wouldn't matter what drill that we put in front of them in those during those times. We're going to create these challenging moments. We're going to create adversity. We're going to create challenges. One, this team is so much fun. They work really, really hard, and they have so much fun that we're having to get really creative as coaches of how we're going to put these challenges in front of them. But really, it's those teams that can transform those challenges into opportunity that are going to be able to seize those moments along the way throughout the season. So I don't have a specific drill.
Let's see.
I know they don't get super excited with one specific drill.
So we do a transition drill, and we have to get, 4 seconds to get across the court, or get across half court. And if you don't get exactly in your right spot, if everybody doesn't talk, you have to start over, or you have to run or do burpees. And it's like you keep going until it's perfect. So it's really frustrating, but it also helps us grow a lot, and it's really great for us.
We're doubling down on that one this week, Hads. Yep, we're doubling down on it.
Maybe you don't want to answer that.
Right.
Kidding, I'm kidding.
So how has it been, though, Delaney, for you? Like, what was your motivation going into the summer, knowing that you've got this great improvement, but how do you build on that?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Also, it's obviously we talked about the losses that we've had in our team, but just how we're building with the other people. But I think in the summer I was trying not to focus on just one thing, just had to improve every area of my game, because of I don't know what I'm going to be needed for this year as obviously a scorer, but also a facilitator and everything else. So just focusing on making sure every area of my game is improving, and not just the three or anything else. So yeah.
We know that your coach is big on togetherness, kind of that rah-rah style in practice. I want to ask you, though, what you guys go by that hashtag love, trust, work. What does it mean to you, the players?
Yeah, so it's been now my 4th year we've been talking about love, trust, work this whole time. And I think now it's you can really see it's who we are. I mean, love, you have to love. We talk about each other all the time, and I think that you can see that on the court with our team. And then just having each other's back is a part of it, just that trust. And then we're going to work harder than everyone else. So in the gym, extra work. So I think in that the people that we brought in have really bought into that process, but sometimes it takes longer than other times. And so it's going to be really fun to see just that translate onto the court.
Your interpretation of it as well.
Yeah, I mean, I would go along with what Delaney said. It's who we are. Not only that, on the court, but it's who we are off the court as well. And it's just how we do everything. We talk all the time about how we do some things is how we do everything. So it's just kind of, we embody it, and that's just who we are. So.
All right, for you guys, some of the fun questions, I think about who's the best dancer on the team. Have you all settled those bets yet, or?
Probably Cam.
Yeah. What makes Cam such a good dancer?
She is just super energetic. Coach Angie called her the Energizer Bunny the other day.
Gotta have one of those.
Yes, for sure. And she just never stops, and she brings a lot of energy to our team.
Right. So. We'll look forward to that.
Yeah, looking forward to watching you all this season. Best of luck, and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you guys
so much.
Thank you.
Awesome.